I have a hate-hate relationship with Blumhouse Pictures because of their horror anthology series on Hulu. It's poorly written and executed trash, and it has completely turned me off from their stuff. So needless to say, I was hesitant when sitting down to watch Sweetheart on Netflix. It's produced by Blumhouse, so does my hate-hate relationship continue? While this is a spoiler-free review, I have done an explanation video that does have spoilers in it. If you want to watch that, I've linked it below in the description and up here in the corner someplace. You can see that as well. Otherwise, though, you can sit back and relax that this video does not contain spoilers. The premise of the story is a young woman washes up on shore of a deserted island. And as she is struggling to survive and hopefully be eventually rescued, she also has to deal with this unknown entity that comes out at night. Kiersey Clemons stars as Jen, the main character, and she doesn't have a lot of dialogue in this, which makes her rely on her body movements, her facial expressions, just everything else about her to emote and to convey everything that she's going through. She really does a good job. I mean, she is very convincing, and I enjoyed watching her because you see her strength come through. You see her ingenuity, just everything about her. She's trapped in this thing and she's just trying to figure out what's going on. And then when she encounters the horror part of this, just the unknown entity that comes out, and she's afraid of it because we all are afraid of things that go bump in the night that we don't know what they are. We get to see that as well, and we get to see her deal with it. And she's convincing, and I liked her. Now, we don't know why or how really she becomes stranded on this island, at least at the beginning. But that unknown, it didn't really get in the way for me. I mean, I questioned at the very beginning, but then I was kind of like, well, okay, I'm just going to accept that that has happened and she's here now, and we move forward from that point. Maybe that will be a stumbling block for you. Maybe that might be just that little bit of like, well, no, I need a little bit of backstory. Well, know that some of that backstory does come later on in the film so that you're not left just utterly going, what the crap? Eventually, a couple of Jen's friends wash up on shore also. And at first, I wasn't too big of a fan of this because I enjoyed watching her alone. But it does add some conversation to the whole narrative. And it also is the impetus for the climax of the film and just the point that the film is trying to make. Again, I'm not going to get into that in this. I've saved that for my explanation video, but let's just say that the dialogue is subtle, but it's powerful. Now, one thing for me in this is that I wish the unknown entity wasn't shown. I like that we get bits and glimpses here and there at the beginning when she first encounters this thing. And I would have preferred for myself to have it left to my imagination so that I'm not shown it, because I feel that that's more terrifying. These unknown things, like I said, that go bump in the night, we just don't know exactly what they are. And my brain fills in the gaps in the details and makes it way more terrifying than you could ever imagine. Some people, though, might like being able to see it. The one good thing, it's practical effects, and they're done really well. And I did enjoy that part of it. Even though I could have done without seeing everything, I liked that they used the practical effects. I like that they actually had the makeup and the stuff to make this entity. So in the end, I didn't mind, but I would have preferred to not be shown everything. The context of the plot is really good in this, especially once Jen's friends come ashore. That's where it really begins to take a lot more shape, and it hones it in for us. And I like that. I mean, the story is telling a point and making a point before they even get there, but then we get to the crux of it once they do arrive. And so both of it works really well together and surprised me in the story. Like, it sucked me in ways that I didn't think it would. I thought it was a very simple, just plain story. And the story itself is simple, which I think is a good thing. It doesn't get too overly complex so that it gets lost in its own details and it goes off on tangents that it doesn't need to. No, it sticks to the plan and it goes where it needs to go and goes where it wants to go, and it leads us along that way, but it also doesn't spoon feed it to us. It does make us think some, and I appreciate that in any type of film. There is some social commentary in this, and it comes down to a line of dialogue that is spoken, and it truly, if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it, and you'll miss the point. And I like that they did it. I like that it was that subtle, and I like that they made us try and figure it out. And, gave us all the information, said, here you go. What do you think? This movie did really surprise me. I mean, there is a fair amount of tension and mystery and suspense, and I didn't know exactly what to expect going in. I mean, I kind of thought that it was a horror thriller type of thing, and while there are some aspects of that, it wasn't as scary in just your traditional scary sense. Some of the context makes it scary, but also just the tension that is built, especially because of Kiersey Clemons' acting. I mean, she just kills it in this, and I loved watching her. It's also a really fast 80-minute watch. I mean, it's not rushed. The pace is really good, but it's not having all this extraneous information in there and just detail that just kind of leads nowhere or leaves you feeling bored. I wasn't bored at all, and it was just the right time. Now, a lot of the times I enjoy a longer movie because it gets to develop the story more, but this time it didn't need it. I felt that it was just, they took exactly what they needed, said, here's our story, we're going to give it to you, enjoy, what do you think? Well, I enjoyed it. There's no sex or nudity, some profanity, and a lot of violence. I give Sweetheart 4.5 out of 5 couches. So what is your one desert island movie? You know, like if you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, nothing else, what would that be? That might be a hard one for me. Actually, that's a really hard one for me. But anyway, what's yours? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.